Hi everybody, it's Miss Karis, and today we're going to talk about competition. What makes a winning routine? So right now everybody's in the midst of competing, right? Your dances have already been choreographed and rehearsed, and now we are into it. We are into competition season. I know some of my kids, we have competition coming up this weekend and they've been competing. So looking at all of this, looking at the results that you're getting, what makes a winning routine? If the routine that you put out didn't win, and maybe you're wondering why it was so good or we had so much fun doing it, why? So I, along with a couple of other judges, were talking about this. What do we look for in a winning routine? So there's a few things. We're going to go down the list, okay? Music, right off the bat. Music is huge. Music is everything, which is why musicality is so important, right? How you hear the music and how you dance to it. So song choice is big. Obviously, we want something that is age appropriate, style appropriate, right? But we want something that's different. And the problem is, you have, let's say that you go to competition and you notice that this one song just killed it, like no one's done it before, right? And so you heard it and they did this really great routine and it just slayed, right? It was awesome and it got, won first place, whatever. And so you're like, that is a great piece of music, I'm going to steal that. Yeah, maybe steal that for rehearsal, for dance class, but maybe not for competition because you just saw it. And how many other studios are watching that same routine and going, wow, that's a good piece of music? So what I would suggest is, if you find a song that you like, find out who the artist is and then go into their albums, their playlists, and see what else they've done, because you could find another piece of music that is just as interesting, that's like on the B tracks or whatever. So music choice, don't just follow the trend, okay? Find something different, or even if it's maybe not something different, but maybe something that we haven't seen at comp in a long time. Maybe it's an old school song, like from the 50s or something, Maybe we haven't heard this song in a while and you want to bring it back and do a really cool twist on this song, right? So think about that. Choreography, right? Big one. How big is choreography? Choreography is huge because it's not just looking at interesting choreography, but the choreography should match, should be age appropriate and ability and experience appropriate. So we're looking at not just, are you doing some cool moves in a different way? Are your transitions maybe a little bit different? Or your formations a little bit different than what we normally see? But also, is your choreography interesting and level appropriate? That's hard to do, especially if you've got some novices, right? Some young ones, some new ones that aren't used to competing. You might not want to give them a difficult routine because they're going to be nervous. It's their first time, so maybe not, throw everything at them. So maybe you're going to give them easier moves, but how do you make easy look interesting? How do you add your own spin on that? Okay, so choreography, big, right? We're looking at technique, right? We're looking at those recognizable steps that we know, and we can go, oh, was her foot turned out, in that glissade, or how was her prep for her jazz pirouette, right? So choreography is huge. What else makes a winning routine? Costuming. I would say costuming too. I don't know if everybody agrees that costuming is super high on the list, but here is where costuming came into play one time when I was judging. So there was this routine that came on stage, and it was a cha-cha, super fast, lots of kids on stage. There had to be like at least 30 kids. And they were all wearing bright color, lots of fringe. It was a two-piece, but there was just fringe and sparkles everywhere flying off this costume. I mean, it was fantastic for the piece of music that they chose. It was great. However, like I said, the dance was really fast. The piece of music was really fast. And they were doing a cha-cho and a cha-cho, a cha-cha. I was going to say mambo, a cha-cha combo, right? And there was some mambo kind of mixed in, and it was really fast. And I'm watching this and I'm going, I know you're not all on the same foot. It's hard for me to tell because all the fringe is going back and forth and I can't quite see what's going on with the feet, but I'm looking real hard. I'm really looking at your feet and I don't think you're all on the same foot. I don't think you're doing that combo all together. Now, when it came time to choose who the first overall was going to be, it was between that cha-cha and another dance. Two completely different dances. One was a jazz dance that was much more dramatic and stylized, and then this one was a very extravagant, loud, bubbly, cha-cha, bright colors, two very, very, very different pieces. Choreography was great. Dancing was great. Execution was great. And what do we do? Who do we give it to? And yeah, I had an issue, and another judge also had an issue giving it to the cha-cha kids, because again, I could tell that that wasn't really all together, but it was hard to really be 100% sure because of the way the costuming was just flying, back and forth. It was kind of hard to see the legs. I think in the end we did end up giving it to the cha-cha kids in first overall. And hey, they did a phenomenal job, but the costume was kind of an issue for me. It was kind of annoying. And so things like that do come up. Is it a costume that's too revealing for somebody that's young, right? It's always the case. Does it match the song? Is it appropriate with the song? Basically, I think what it really all boils down to is dances should be clean. Choreography should be recognizable, but with some different things sprinkled in, and try not to pick the same music that somebody else picked. Now, what are your thoughts? What do you guys have found that makes a winning routine? Do you disagree with what I've said? How do you feel about this? So if you've made it to the end of this video, awesome. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.